disgusting fan base trash their organization is. It's because of the fans! It's because of the fans, man!
Let's get it going!
Welcome to another edition of the Ravi&Ray podcast. Let's go! It is weekend. We got a ton of stuff to talk about. Let's dive right in. But before we do, we got the one. We got the only motherfucking Nav in the building, baby! Let's go!
Thank you.
The legend is here, ladies and gentlemen. The legend is here. Let's go, man. Let's get it going, man. What do we got, Rob?
Let's dive deep, but before we get into the conference championship, Ray, the first thing we're going to have to talk about is all these head coaching moves going around. Let's start it off, Ray. We've everyone knows our reaction to what happened with the Las Vegas Raiders and Antonio Pierce. But let's let a Raider fan explain. How excited are you to see Antonio Pierce?
I'm actually very excited to see what Antonio Pierce has for a full season of potential. Players obviously love him. And the way he talks, I don't know if you guys seen his interviews, the way he talks, you want to go all out for that guy. And that's what you need from a head coach. And I think we did the right decision by choosing Antonio Pierce as our head coach.
I totally agree with that. Raymond, you had some other words for Antonio Pierce. You do not like the move?
I don't. I think you had at the time Jim Harbaugh. I know he's not. I know he's the head coach for the Chargers now, but during that time, man, you had Harbaugh and you had Bill Belichick still there. I think now you got to take those guys. You have to. Like, I get it. Pierce is solid, but like, I think he would have stayed with the coaching staff.
Yeah.
I think if Jim Harbaugh came in, we would have had to do a full-on rebuild mode. Like, no one's going to stay. None of the players, Max Crosby is probably not going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
Devontae Adams was probably not going to stay. So it was probably going to be.
Do you think that they would have stayed for Jim Harbaugh?
They would have to what?
Do you think they would have stayed?
Do you think that Max? Yeah. Do you think that they would have stayed for Jim Harbaugh or Bill Belichick?
I don't know about Bill Belichick, but probably Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Bill Belichick too. I think just because they got the old school head coach minds and stuff, and I feel like Max Crosby is just willing to do whatever it takes.
I completely disagree with both of you guys on the topic of Bill Belichick. To be honest, I don't think Bill Belichick was the right fit for the Las Vegas Raiders. I think they tried the Patriot way, had Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler there. It didn't work out, and I think the players would be very vocal and upset if they hire Bill Belichick. I think the Raiders citing Antonio Pierce, I'm with Raider Nation on this one, Ray. I think it's a really good move. You had players like Max Crosby coming out saying that he's going to explore other options, whatever that meant. If Antonio Pierce was not hired, I think they were almost forced into hiring Antonio Pierce also.
Yeah, and honestly, it's just gonna be a wait and see thing. I mean, like, let's just say, I'm just saying, like, we'll really see this year because Jim Harbaugh's obviously he's with the Chargers, but if Bill Belichick, let's say he gets the Washington job, all three of them at the end of the day, we're all just gonna we can look back on it and see who is the better coach in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And then speaking of better coach, I think we have to talk about Raheem Morris and the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. 2 interviews with Bill Belichick, 2 interviews with Jim Harbaugh, and they pivot away and sign Raheem Morris. I know Raheem Morris likely will be a fantastic coach, but when you have game breaker coaches like Bill Belichick and Jim Harbaugh available, Jim Harbaugh was still available when Raheem Morris was signed to the Atlanta Falcons, I believe. And I have to ask you, Ray, we'll start off with you. Do you like the signing of Raheem Morris to the Atlanta Falcons?
Do I like the signing? To be honest with you, how I feel about it, is winners want to win
Mhm.
and losers want to lose. And in this case, the Atlanta Falcons are losers.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm being honest with you, man. They're straight up losers, dude. They should have gotten Bill Belichick. What the hell are they thinking? Like, look, man, Mac Jones isn't the guy. We all know he's not it. It's not him. Could you imagine if he had a CJ Stroud at New England? Oh my gosh. Like, dude, they have the opportunity to get Drake Maye. Drake May's a really good quarterback. He's extremely mature. He's ready to go. He's on it, man. He's the second best quarterback in college football, and he has an opportunity of a lifetime. This kid could be something special. So, dude, I think Bill Belichick, he's got to go to Washington, man. He's got to go to Washington.
I think what it is, before we pivot to you, Nav, I think what it is that Bill Belichick wanted full control of Atlanta, and that's where the negotiation kind of had a dead stall. I think he wanted to be the GM and head coach, and Atlanta's like, we've kind of seen your track record on how that went. Maybe we don't feel so comfortable with that. And I think same thing with Jim Harbaugh. I'm not saying he wants to be the GM, but I know for a fact he wants a lot of input in player development and what kind of players they bring in. And I think that's why they pivoted away from guys like Jim Harbaugh and Bill Belichick. They wanted a true GM. They wanted a true head coach, and they got that with Raheem Morris. Just like you said, time will only tell how Raheem Morris will do. I think Raheem Morris will be an above 500 coach for many, many years, but I don't think that he can bring the level of wins that you can with Jim Harbaugh and Bill Belichick. Now, I got to ask you on this. The LA Rams defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris, is now the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. How do you feel about it?
I'm like 50-50 on it. I feel like when I see the Falcons, I see them as an offensive team. And obviously Raheem Morris is like more of a defensive guy. And I don't know, maybe a lot of changes have to be done at the Atlanta Falcons in order to see what the potential of Raheem Morris is. I mean, just like how you guys said, we just have to see how it goes. But as of right now, I think it's just like, I mean, a 50-50, I guess. I'll probably grade it like a C+ if I was to grade this hiring.
I think it's a really good grade for Raheem Morris. I think I would agree with that. I think a C+ is really good, and I think he could have gone more than that if they didn't interview Jim Harbaugh and Bill Belichick, because you had guys like that out there. But I think with the candidates you had out there to the candidates you picked, I would give it about a C. I agree with that. Before I get to you, Ray, we got some comments. Angel's commenting, "Let's go." He says, "I don't know what Bill Belichick, because Mike McDaniels. Oh, Mike McDaniels was from the Bill tree, and you see how the players couldn't be themselves in the locker room." Oh, I think he's talking about Josh McDaniels on that one. And then DC Spence said, "Bill to Washington, we need a full revamp." I think the Washington Commanders definitely need a full revamp. Sam Howell, I don't know how we feel about Sam Howell. I'm not too much on him.
They did get rid of, what's his name, Chase Young and Montez Sweat, right?
Yeah. Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Daron Payne, and Josh, other defensive tackle. I cannot remember his name right now, with Daron Payne.
Montez Sweat?
Jonathan Allen is still there with Daron Payne. And, those are fantastic DTs, but he needs some edge rushers on there. Next up, we got the Bengals offensive coordinator. I already forgot this guy's name. The Bengals offensive coordinator is the new head coach. Where is he the new head coach for now? That's... I'm already blanking on this one, Ray. Can you fill us in? Who's the head coach? What's his name? Brian Callahan.
There you go.
Brian Callahan, right? Come on, guys. It was a test. Brian Callahan is the new head coach for
the Carolina Panthers.
No, Dave Canales is the new head coach for the Carolina Panthers. Let's start off with Dave Canales. Brian Callahan is the new head coach for the Tennessee Titans. But let's start off with Dave Canales, the
Gosh.
offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I personally do not like this move. I know Baker had a fantastic season in there but you had guys like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rashad White was getting it rolling. The K. Dotton, the tight end, the offensive line started coming on strong. I think he's a very good offensive coordinator. I'm a little scared for him to pivot into such a large head coach role with the Carolina Panthers, and they needed a lot. The Carolina Panthers, they need a lot, and I think that they had same thing like the Atlanta Falcons. I think they had a lot of different avenues that they could have gone, and they just didn't explore it. And I gotta hear what you gotta say, Ray. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator is now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers.
I just don't understand it, man. I mean, you got Bill Belichick right in your face. You know what I mean? Like, at least extend an offer. Like, at least try. Like, I can understand if Bill Belichick says, you know what, I don't want to play for this team, but I don't like the hiring at all, man. I think you got a really good coach that's just right there in your face. And like, I mean, am I the only one that kind of feels like this, or is this kind of like, or is it just time to move on? Like, it's just time it's the new generation and that's it.
It's a 6-year contract for Dave Canales too. I know they were trying to get some offensive-minded coach in there for Bryce Young. I personally like the Tennessee Titans head coach better than Brian Callahan. I think that would be better for Bryce Young than to have Dave Canales. Nothing against Dave Canales; he could be a fantastic head coach. What about you, Nab? Do you think it's a good signing for the Carolina Panthers and also for Bryce Young's development?
I think it's kind of set up for disaster just because he hasn't had that head coach experience. I mean, he has that offensive coordinator experience, but it's like, how much has he proven? You know, with all the time that he's been at Bucks, and I mean, yeah, Bucks went to the playoffs and stuff like that, and Baker had probably his best season. I want to say
100%. I would say
he did have his best season,
Yeah.
but I think Baker's like Bryce Young needed a coach that can develop him more, and I don't know if he's the right guy for that.
Maybe someone like Jim Harbaugh would have done them so good. Did they even?
Yeah,
I don't even recall them interviewing Jim Harbaugh, to be honest. I don't know if Jim Harbaugh didn't want to go there or what the situation is, but they didn't even review that. Ray Angel's agreeing with you in the comments. He's saying teams don't want to play for Bill anymore. They're transitioning into the new school role. And that's why we're seeing so much young head coaches get the job now. And another young head coach, the Bengals offensive coordinator. In this move, I do like, actually, the Bengals offensive coordinator, Brian Callahan, the new head coach for the Tennessee Titans. They don't have a quarterback. Maybe Will Levis. I mean, we're going to have to kind of wait and see where the verdict is out on him. And who?
mayonnaise guys.
Mayonnaise guys?
Mayonnaise.
Oh, mayonnaise guy? Yeah, mayonnaise and coffee guy? Oh, dude.
That's crazy. That's so nasty, dude. Could you imagine, bro? Like, I don't know, man. Could you imagine, like, meeting a girl for, like, the first time and she's like, cream? He goes, no, pass the mayonnaise. Like, how nasty. How nasty, you know?
Sipping some coffee with a guy with mayonnaise in his coffee.
That's so disgusting. I can't even believe it. Nav, how do you feel about Brian Callahan to the Titans?
I think it's a good signing. I for both sides. I think for him and for the Titans, just because what we've seen with Joe Burrow and how they started from the ground up, he could probably try to do the same thing here because he's already had that background with the Bengals. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, Tennessee, they're pretty much. I mean, they really have no one, honestly. So they're pretty much starting from scratch right now. So I think this is a good opportunity to see where it ends up.
Yeah, Brian Callahan also coming out saying that he can't wait to work with Will Levis. Right? How do you feel about him?
Yeah, you know what? I honestly believe that Will Levis deserves another chance. I don't think they should take a quarterback this season. Yeah. I think their defense was a really good defense this year. Their offense lacked big time. I think you have to make a decision with Derrick Henry. I think you give Henry another chance to really prove it himself this year. If not, I think you should take some insurance in the draft just in case. But they got to go offense, man. They got to get Will Levis some more weapons. It's just that simple. Like no one really fears this team. I know their offensive line struggled this year, so get him some more offensive line help. Draft some wide receivers, and let's go and let's see what this kid can do. And if he's not the answer, damn, then you just have to move on. You just gotta take the L and that's it. But I think they're gonna do great from an offensive standpoint. Their defense is they're studs on that defense. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what they're going to pick next year for sure. I'd be absolutely shocked if they picked a quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that they should pick a quarterback. Maybe in the later rounds, like fourth round and beyond, I could see that, and also getting someone as a backup caliber too. Before we move on to the NFC Conference Championship, I see Mr. Saldana is all decked out in his purple Ravens gear. We're gonna get to that. Oh, the Zay Flowers jersey too.
Hey, I got the Zay
You
Zay
got the
Flowers
Zay.
jersey today. Let's
Before-
go, man.
Before we get to that, I'm just gonna name this the head coach and the team. You guys just give me a grade real quick. Where do you guys think that these head coaches deserve to be graded at? Okay, we'll start it off. Atlanta Falcons, Raheem Morris. I give that. I'm with Ray. I'm sorry, with Nav. I'm gonna give that a C+ on that grade, and just because you had better other options available. What about you, Ray?
A D plus.
D+.
D plus. He has this head coach has to prove it. He's got to
Yeah.
prove it.
Yeah. How do you feel about this now?
C+ for me for that signing.
I'm really interested to see where we're gonna grade the Carolina head Panthers coach. I know your boy Sua might watch this later, Ray. We'll save that one for last for him, okay? Next up, the Los Angeles Chargers. I know Nav is juiced that the Chargers got Jim Harbaugh. I'm gonna give this an A++. I think this is a phenomenal move for Justin Herbert to get him on track for the Chargers organization. I'm gonna give this A++. What about you, Ray?
Dude, I give it an A++ as well. I mean,
Yeah.
this is absolutely a phenomenal pick. The LA should be going wild right now because honestly, this guy has the opportunity. Jim Harbaugh has the opportunity to get this football team, and dare I say, bigger than the LA Lakers.
Hmm.
I think so. I think he can get
Wow.
it that far, dude. I really believe so, man. I believe so because LA looks like the Lakers. They're not doing good at all,
Mhm.
dude. And LeBron, when he retires, it's over.
Yeah.
It's done, dude. They don't have draft picks. Their salary cap is terrible,
Yeah.
bro. They're gonna be bad for a while. And I think Jim Harbaugh came in at the right time because he's gonna lift the city up through football.
Mhm.
And I think you're gonna see a lot of Charter fans in the stands
Yeah.
more.
They're gonna
I
start.
really believe that.
They're gonna start popping up out of nowhere because there's only 3 Charger fans
Yeah.
in existence, probably. Now,
Yeah, it's so true, man. It's so true. But I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna change that whole organization, and it's gonna be really fun to watch. I can't wait for the Harbaugh Bowl. I can't even say it.
before we get to Nav, you just on the Lakers a little bit. Angel saying, "I thought you're a Lakers fan. You're hurting my soul."
Oh shit! I'm sorry, Angel. I'm just speaking the truth, man. I apologize, man. We're pretty bad this year. We're not good this year, man.
What do you think, Jim Harbaugh? Your favorite coach to your favorite team?
I hate to say it, it is an A+. It's like a perfect match
Yeah.
for both sides. This is exactly what Chargers needed, and this is exactly what Jim Harbaugh needed. We got a good quarterback with a good overall team that needed just great coaching, which Brandon Stanley definitely didn't do. And I feel like the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh both are a win-win at this situation.
I just want to let everyone know there's no mayonnaise in this coffee like Will Levis' coffee. But next up, the Tennessee Titans, Brian Callahan, the new head coach. I know I just raved about him. I'm going to give this move a B- though, because I think Mike Vrabel was a better coach than Brian Callahan. will end up being. So I'm going to give this a B, not B minus. I would like the move offensive standpoint. I hate the move because you got rid of a guy like Mike Vrabel. What do you think, Ray?
Honestly, dude, I think Mike Vrabel is definitely a better head coach. So I'm gonna go with a C plus.
Yeah, I agree. Mike Vrabel led a Ryan Tannehill team to the #1 seed in the AFC Championship. That's nuts, out of its mind. What do you think about this? Brian Callahan to the Titans. What are you grading this?
I agree with both of you guys, what you guys are saying about him, and I agree that I would give it a C plus as well.
Yeah, maybe I'm being a little generous. I feel like I'm grading a little too high every time. Maybe I'm being too generous. We're gonna come back to the Raiders one, and actually, that's pretty much. We just have 3 teams left. Let's jump to the Raiders then. The Raiders hiring Antonio Pierce after firing Josh McDaniels during the season on November 1st. I'm going to give this a B. And the reason why I'm giving it also a little bit of a high grade is because I think this is a move they needed to make happen for guys like Max Crosby, Devontae Adams, and other big name guys. They needed the Raider culture to stay, and I think Antonio Pierce keeps that. But you have guys like Jim Harbaugh available. That's kind of where I scratch my head a little bit. So I'm going to give this a B plus. What about you, Ray?
I give this move an F. An absolute F. An F, man. This is an absolute failure. Look, you have Jim Harbaugh. You have Coach Belichick. You have to make that move. You have to make that move, man. And I think you guys messed up big time. I'm not gonna. Pierce has got to show me. He's got to show me.
Yeah.
But honestly, dude, there's one thing I could say. Jim Harbaugh has proven. Bill Belichick has proven.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know damn well that if you guys got Bill Belichick, that defense would be, I would say, easily top 10.
Or
There's
Mike
no
Vrabel.
doubt about it.
Or Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel would be phenomenal there too.
Mike Vrabel would have been a better option too, I will admit, because Vrabel would have got his. Vrabel has his own system, and I think his system works really well. But, dude, we're talking about one of the greatest defensive minds in all of football, in Bill Belichick. You guys would probably have a top 5, top 10 defense, no doubt about it, dude. And the offense is only just going to get better, in my opinion. Your guys' offense, but we'll see what Pierce does. I mean, you guys played extremely well at the end of the year, so I got to give you guys credit there. But we'll really see. We'll see next year if he was the real deal.
I agree. Here we go. Talk about your team. How do you feel? Angels roasting me in the comments saying I'm being too generous, by the way.
You got to add Angel. What grade do you think?
Angel, drop it down. Let me hear.
Drop it down.
You want to hear what grade do you think that the Vegas Raiders should get?
You know how lame, dude? I gotta go back. You know how freaking lame that was? I was gonna ask you to ask him. Oh no! I could just ask him.
Crazy. That's perfect. While we're waiting for his response on you, Nav, break it down. How are we feeling about AP?
I think with AP, I think B plus is probably a fair grade. We've seen what he could do at the end of the season when he took control of the team versus how the team was in the first half of the season. Also, the players and Raider Nation actually really wanted him, so I'm kind of happy that we listened to him. Mark Davis listened to him and actually hired Junior Prince instead of and the others.
Oh, look at the baby! I saw the baby. We're gonna have to bring the baby in. Where's the baby? Bring her in.
All right, we're gonna bring her in.
Well, on baby night. Oh, there we go. Go Ravens. Is she
Let's
gonna
go
have,
Ravens. Hey, she's got an outfit.
She's
She's got the dope. It's like a dude. You got it. I can't wait for you to see it, dude. It's the bomb. We're gonna take hella pictures.
I can't wait. I'm gonna be there, so you don't have to take
And she's
pictures.
also got a Jackson jersey. She's got a Lamar. She's got a. She's gonna wear her Lamar jersey too.
Don't do that to the poor girl. Now I feel bad. At least get her a Zay jersey, not a Lamar jersey.
Oh man, I gotta get her. I gotta get her LJ, man. Let's go.
Just kidding. LeBron James. First, Angel gave it a C minus. Then he changed it, and he's saying a D plus now. I don't think that he is really liking the move on Antonio Pierce either. I think maybe I'm just being generous. I know the entire Raider fan base is juiced for this move. I'm still gonna back up the Raider fan base on this one. I think this is still a good move. I just don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Next up, we got the New England Patriots head coach Gerard Mayo. I'll go first on this one still. Gerard Mayo, I'm gonna give this a solid B. And the reason is because it's kind of a little bit of a question mark. Gerard Mayo drafted by the Patriots, 10th overall in 2008, Super Bowl champion, spent his career only with New England, never went to another team as a player, never went to another team as a coach. Coaching since 2019, since he's been in our defensive coaching, our defense has been top 10 at minimum every single year since 2019. I'm really excited for Gerard Mayo. He came out and said that we are going to be spending a lot of damn money this offseason. So I'm excited to see where the Patriots are going to go this offseason. But also, we've never really seen him in this kind of role before. He was also a co-defensive coordinator with Steve Belichick, Bill Belichick's son. So Gerard Mayo did call the plays, but Steve Belichick had a lot of say-so in it too. I think if you retain guys like Steve Belichick, if you bring back guys like Josh McDaniels, I think it's going to be a really good move in the long run. I'm just a little scared right now to see how it goes, so I'm going to give that a solid B line. Ray, how are you feeling on this?
Honestly, dude, I'm gonna give this move a C minus. I'm gonna give this. It's tough. I was gonna say a D plus, but I'm gonna give it a C minus.
Yeah.
I'll give it a C minus because he has been with his organization for a while. He has learned from the GOAT, and to be honest with you, he has the opportunity to kind of just carry all that knowledge, carry all that how Bill Belichick approaches just that head coaching position. I think he can do it, but it's a wait and see thing because what I'm really nervous about is you guys are still looking for a GM.
Yeah.
And that's what's kind of scary about it because right now, Gerard Mayo, I feel like whatever his vision of this football team is, he has you guys are going to bring this new GM in. What if his vision is completely different, or he has to see something they don't really see eye to eye? Gerard Mayo's not going to have that say. So I wonder, I don't know, man. I think it just depends on your guys' GM as well.
Yeah, I agree. How are you feeling about this move?
I give it a B plus, just because they kept it in house with Gerard Mayo, and then he obviously he already knows the system and he already knows all the players. I think, and he worked under Bill Belichick, so he worked under the head coach. So him moving up, and Patriots choosing him as the next head coach, I think that was a good choice. Honestly, who would have been a better choice out of him? Who knows if Jim Harbaugh actually wanted to come to Patriots?
Yep.
That's true.
Pete Carroll, you never know.
He's old too.
He's old, but it's just he has that defensive mind too. But who knows? Yeah. But I think honestly, for all the options they had open, I think he was a better signing than any of them.
Yeah.
And I apologize too. I just want to say something. Nav just brought up another legend, Pete Carroll. He should have been in the option for the Raider job too, for the Patriot job, for a lot of these other jobs that we were kind of talking about earlier. Pete Carroll's name deserves to be in there as well.
Yeah.
He's a great coach, man. He is a good coach. Everybody thought Seattle was going to be counted out for, they were going to be a trash team, and he did very well with them.
And I think Pete Carroll, that's such a good point, Nav, that you said it, because it just clicked to my head. Coach before Bill Belichick was Pete Carroll in the New England uniform. I think that would have been a fun reunion to see.
What if?
Yeah, it would have been. Next up, We got your boy Sua's team, Carolina Panthers. Dave Tepper hired Dave Canellis. How you feeling? I'm going to give this straight up a D. I'm going to give this a D minus. And the only reason I'm not giving this as an F is because Baker had a fantastic year. I'm not excited for this move. I think he could be a decent head coach, but it's a wait and see thing. He's going into a very bad, distraught organization in the Carolina Panthers right now, where they have Bryce Young and nobody. They have no running backs. They have no receivers. They have no tight ends. Barely offensive line. They need a lot of help on defense. And Dave Canales really has, his work cut out for him. I'm going to give this a D. How are you feeling on this, Ray?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna give this an F, Rob. I think you make a really good case. I'm gonna give it I'm gonna have to give it a D. I got to give it a D, man. Like I said, you have the GOAT right in your face. You have Pete Carroll out there. Pete Carroll would have fit really great in this organization. I think he would have done great. I don't think Bill Belichick wants to go to this organization personally. I know he's out there. I don't think he wants to be here. But I could really see Pete Carroll being here and just saying, "Hey, if you give me the full reins, I can transform this team. I could transform this team over time." I feel like Bill Belichick wants to break Don Shula's record for the most wins of all time, and I think he wants to go to a damn good football team that he can do that, so he can get there faster. But it's a damn shame. It's an absolute disgrace that this guy's not a head coach right now for a football team. It's wild.
We are going to go into a season where Bill Belichick was trying to get a head coaching gig and he was not able to. That's pretty crazy to hear. And we had 7, 8 coaching vacancies. I think it's just mind-boggling, honestly. How are you feeling about this, Nav? Dave Canales to the Carolina Panthers.
I'm happy to agree with you guys. We haven't seen much and we don't know much. And also going into the Carolina Panthers, I mean, you are starting from scratch, so you get to run this team however you want. But in the other cases, it's all on you and there's a lot on your shoulders. So if you're not making the right decision and you haven't proven within a year or two, it's going to hurt you bad and it's going to hurt that job title bad.
Yeah, I totally agree with all you guys. That was fun to see the grades on this. I got one more question for you guys. We got a old school Skins fan, now a Commanders fan. We're gonna get to the Commanders in just a second because I'm gonna name 2 teams that are head coachless right now: the Seattle Seahawks and the Washington Commanders. Now we're gonna start off with you first. The Seattle Seahawks. Who do you think would be a really good fit for the Seattle Seahawks as their next head coach? Because there's a lot of good head coaching candidates out there. I want to hear you guys' prediction. There's 2 head coachless teams available. Who are you guys thinking should be the next coach for the Seattle Seahawks?
Go ahead, Nev. It's all you.
I think it should be Dan Quinn. I think he's the perfect match for that defense, that young core defense. I've been hyping them up because I honestly like all their secondary players. They're pretty solid. I'm not saying Pete Carroll was a bad coach or anything, but Dan Quinn with that defense, we've seen what he did to at Cowboys. We'll see how he does in Seattle. I think he's gonna be the best candidate for Seattle.
I got to hear you, Ray. How are you feeling about it? The rumors are circulating for Dan Quinn like crazy. How do you feel about the Seattle Seahawks? Who should be
I have to disagree. I don't think Dan Quinn should even be a head coach. The way that he lost in the playoffs is very troublesome. In the regular season, I think he's fantastic, but when it comes to the when it gets pressured, with the lights are the brightest, it seems like he fails. Now let's go back all the way to Atlanta. He was the head coach when Tom Brady came back 28-3 for that football team.
Yep.
He was, if you look at all his years at the Dallas Cowboys, look what happened in the playoffs. And it's just, I think it should be, if I had to choose, there's a couple of guys, but the one guy that stands out is Mike McDonald from the Ravens. I think what he's done with this defense, number 1 in sacks, number 1 in takeaways. I mean, it's the number one defense, man. I mean, in each year he's been there for 2 years, and he's improved this defense dramatically. So I think he should be. He's probably going to be a candidate to go.
To be honest with you, I think I 110% agree with you, right? There's not a lot of things that we agree on, but I think this is one of them. I don't think Dan Quinn. I know the whole media world, Dan Quinn this, Dan Quinn that, choked in the playoffs 28-3 against the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. He choked against Green Bay, the 7th seed Green Bay, at home while Dallas was at home. I don't think Dan Quinn's a good coach. I know everybody loves him. Everybody's hyping him. Legion of Boom, this, that, and the other. I'm also gonna agree with you on the Ravens defensive coordinator, Mike McDonald, right? Am I saying his name right? Mike McDonald.
Yeah.
I think Mike McDonald's gonna be a perfect fit because what is the Seattle Seahawks known for? They're known for hard-hitting defense. They're not known for their offense as much. They're known for their defense. And I think if they want to make this move, that Mike McDonald would be a perfect fit. I'm right there with you. Now we are getting.
I want to add something onto that. So we have other options. What do you guys think about Bill Belichick running that young core defense?
I don't think Bill Belichick should be the coach for the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, yeah, and the only reason why I would have said Belichick is because aren't they like a year young, like before each other? So they're probably like, well, we just got rid of like Pete Carroll, who's pretty much like a year older than him. Why would we get like another old head coach? Not to be offensive or mean, but that's like kind of the truth. It seems like they're trying to go younger, like they're trying to get more into the younger generation of coaches. Dan Quinn, I don't think he's that old, but like, yeah, I think he's trying to. I think he's trying to get. I think the Seattle Seahawks are trying to go younger as far as the head coach.
Okay, so why not Mike Vrabel?
Oh, that's a great one.
That's actually a very, very good one. Yeah. Damn, Nav, that's actually, he's spot on.
Yeah,
I would say that would be an A+. That would be an A+ pick right there.
You know what? I think I'll take mine back and say Mike Vrabel. I don't know how.
I'll take mine back. I'll take mine back too.
I don't know how I'm sure you would, because I'm sure you don't want Mike McDonald to leave.
Yeah. Yeah, I would.
The other, I mean, we could go. I don't know. I think he's probably younger, but Raheem Morris, he wasn't signed before, but why not him? You know, that's another defensive mind coach right there.
Yeah.
I got a like a wild one. What about Eric Bieniemy?
Yeah.
Would you be okay with that?
I think he did a phenomenal job with Sam Howell too. Don't you?
I think so.
He did. You know, he did a great job developing Patrick Mahomes. Can't give him all the credit, obviously, but I think he did a fantastic job with Sam Howell. I mean, he made Sam Howell over 4,000 yards passer. I think that's a great one too. But I think they need to go defense in Seattle, and I'm still going to stick with rather Mike Vrabel or Mike McDonald. But next up, we got the Commanders, and our chat's blowing up, Ray, on Instagram with the Commanders. There's a Commanders fan in here. Oh, I'm sorry. He said not Commanders. They are still the Washington Redskins. So next up for Washington. Washington can go a lot of different directions. Mike Vrabel, Bill Belichick, Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Then you have Brian Johnson, who's the OC for the Eagles, also a head coaching candidate. I got to hear it, Nav. I want to hear you go first. Who do you think should be the head coach of the Washington Commanders / Redskins?
Oh man, that's tough. There's so many options. I mean, the sky's the limit now with them because they're the second last, I guess. Yeah, they're the second last, but they have a lot of big options from what they can get. I honestly don't know what the Commanders are, what they're trying to go for. I don't know if they're going for defensive team or offensive team. I could say Vrabel too. I think Mike Vrabel might be a good candidate for the Commanders. Go all defensive-minded coach, and then go from there and see how it is. And he's also young.
Mike Braves. You're saying Braves? I like that Braves answer. Ray, how are you feeling about this?
You got to go Coach Belichick here. You got to go Coach Belichick. Look, they're going to get the second best quarterback in the draft. They got a ton of money. I understand they let go of 2 really good defensive players, but I think if you go, I think if you give Bill Belichick at least a couple of years there, I think he could transform this entire organization. I really do. If they don't allow Bill Belichick to be a GM, I think this team can go very far. But if they can just say, "Hey, man, you just be ahead, just do what you got to do as a head coach, and whatever you need, we got you." Simple as that. And obviously, don't let him draft. Don't let him draft players. Let that be with the GM and the owner. And I think they're going to be very, very good. I think they're going to be extremely good, man.
Yeah, let me just catch up on the comments real quick, Ray. DC Spent said not Commanders, still Redskins. Angel says, yeah, I think Bill Belichick should just be a defensive coordinator and coach. He wants full control and take the fun out of the locker room. Who knows? My opinion. Mr. Matt Ramirez in the comments down below, right? Matt Ramirez is here. Coach Brable from the Commanders agreeing with Nat, then saying, what's the salary cap situation with the Redskins and their pick situation? I think that they have a pretty decent salary cap still available. Matt also said hello to you also, Ray. I think the Commanders still have a pretty decent salary cap still available. I think Bill Belichick would do phenomenal in this role. I just think that Bill was actually, I think it's a blessing in disguise for Bill to not go to Atlanta. I think the Commanders is where he needs to go. I think the Commanders makes really good sense for him. He can get, new GM. Who's the GM that they just got? The guy that put the Splash Brothers together in Golden State. I cannot remember from the NBA. I'm blanking on his name. I apologize. Josh Harris, also the owner of the 76ers, if I'm not mistaken, right? The Commanders owner. And then, so I think they're ready to spend money. And as of 2024, they have the most cap space available. Hire Bill Belichick, but hire a GM with him also. I think that's the only caveat to it. He needs to have a GM who can control this. I think he's too old. I think he's lost his touch a little bit. I think he'll be a phenomenal head coach, but I don't think he'll be a phenomenal GM.
How do you feel about David Zeichler?
Yeah,
going to Washington.
No, he needs to go to the Patriots. I don't want to talk about him. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. We had a lot of fun doing that. Thank you for everybody that's commenting down below. But we still got more football to talk about. Raymond decked out in his Baltimore Ravens gear. I'm sure we're going to hear it because his team is in the AFC Championship against Patrick Mahomes. Six years as a starter, 6 straight AFC Championship for Patrick Mahomes. Absolutely unbelievable. This guy could really break records from Brady and be the greatest of all time and possibly surpass Brady if he keeps winning like this at this level. We are going to get to this game, but we're going to talk about the Detroit Lions against the San Francisco 49ers first. Detroit MCDC, Jared Goff heading to San Francisco 49ers, Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, CMC, Fred Warner. I think this is going to be a phenomenal matchup. I'm going to make my prediction first just because I cannot wait. I am going to pick MCDC and the Detroit Lions to go into San Francisco, and they're going to pummel the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to give this score a 35-14. Brock Purdy's going to look like and show you why he is Mr. Irrelevant after this game.
Hold the brakes right here, ladies and gentlemen. Did you say that the Lions would dominate the San Francisco 49ers? Excuse me, let me say this one more. 35-14?
Yes, sir. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. The comments are saying Brock's going to choke. Detroit's winning. Lions all the way. It's going to happen. And I'm telling you, I'm going to be the first one. That's why I wanted to go first. 35-14, MCDC. Trust them. This is big trust. Jared Goff, clutch. He's going to come up. Brock Purdy's going to choke.
Damn. And you know what? I couldn't agree more. I think the Detroit Lions are absolutely going to win this football game. Look, I got to be honest. I got to be 100% real. I feel I didn't like what I saw with Brock Purdy last week. I didn't like it at all, man. And I see this kid, dude, like he should have had 2 pick sixes in that game. And if he throws that football like that against this football team, I think it's going to be a long night for the 49ers. This game is going to be all on this kid's shoulders, Brock Purdy. And honestly, dude, if you can get to him, if you can rattle him, if you can get in his head, it's over. It's completely over. So I think the Detroit Lions can match up easily offensively. The biggest question mark, I think, in this football game is going to be the Detroit Lions' secondary against the 49ers offense. That's really going to be the game. If these guys can stop them, it's on. Because CMC, everyone thinks that CMC is going to have such a great day. I just want to let everybody know that the Lions have not even let this entire season, I think, a running back over 70 yards. Think about that. So if they can contain Christian McCaffrey, it's going to be a long day for these guys.
Yeah, I agree with you, and so's the comment. Matt Ramirez says it has to be a Brock Purdy game. Detroit's run defense is ranked 3rd. The pass defense is ranked 27th. They need to be exploited in the pass, and it has to be a Brock Purdy game. I don't believe Brock Purdy in the NFC Championship. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback like everybody's making him out to be, but I do think he is still a really good quarterback. I can't wait to hear from their rivals, the Las Vegas Raiders. Are you going to cheer for the Niners? Are you going to be the solo one going for the Niners right now?
I'm definitely not. And I don't think anyone wants to see the Niners in the Super Bowl besides Niners fans. That's it. Everyone else is going for Detroit Lions, and I think Detroit Lions is the team to take down Niners. I honestly thought Green Bay almost took that game away from them too. So I feel like Green Bay proved a lot, and they did make a couple mistakes. And those mistakes, I don't think the Lions could do, and I think they could knock down 49ers.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the game we've been waiting for. Is this the passing of the torch right here, right? Is this going to be Patrick Mahomes passing the torch to the next guy up right now in Lamar Jackson, Mr. LJ8? I want everybody that's on this live right now to drop in their scoring predictions and who's going to win. And I'm going to read aloud all of them. And I'm very curious to what everybody has in this game. Raymond, I'm going to make you go last because I want to give you the floor for this one. I'll go first on this one. On this game, on Sunday, I am going to go for the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to win this game. Kansas City's looked pretty good in the playoffs. I will give it to them. They had, their ups and downs throughout the regular season, but I think it all stops here. And that defense, the way Baltimore's defense has been playing, absolutely lights out. Just dominating teams by 14 plus. Almost feels like almost every other game they're beating someone by 14 plus, and not just somebody, beating playoff contending teams throughout the regular season. They've done a phenomenal job. Credit to Mike McDonald in that defense. I'm going to say that they're going to beat Kansas City in a close nail biter. I think, Raymond, you might have a heart attack during this game. I'm going to say 27-24 Baltimore in this one.
Wow.
With that scoring, do you think Justin Tucker is going to finish it off like that?
I think the MVP, Justin Tucker, will finish it off. Yeah.
Oh,
no better way. No better way.
No better way.
Yeah. Where do you think this game's headed?
I think this You know what, Ray? I'm gonna give it this to you because B More is gonna take this away. I cannot cheer for Kansas City Chiefs, but I also don't think they're the right team to go up again on the Super Bowl. Baltimore has finally proven that Lamar is the guy. I mean, Lamar has proven that
Yeah.
Baltimore is legit, and with that defense, that nasty ass defense, I don't think Kansas City could score on that Baltimore defense.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, everybody knows who I'm rooting for. I don't really have to say who I'm gonna choose, but
The
look,
Chiefs.
this is
I think he likes red too.
honestly, my honest take on the game is like if you look at Kansas City versus Buffalo, Patrick Mahomes was going against second, third, and fourth stringers. Sorry that he was. I mean, he was going against a decimated defense. That defense was absolutely decimated. Everybody knows it. This Ravens defense is the number one defense in the NFL. And to be honest with you, man, last week, I basically almost called it. I said Houston would have 17 and the Ravens would have 33 points. They actually did better, 34-10. I did say it would be a lot to a little. And in this football game, it's going to be the same exact outcome. It will be a lot to a little. And here's why. So before I give my prediction, just hear me out here. So last week, right, you had Tampa Bay and you had the Buccaneers. What was the score on the game? 23 23-31 or
yeah 23-31. You're wrong. Yeah.
23-31, right? A close game. Let's go to what was the other game? The 49ers and the 49ers and the Green Bay Packers, right?
Yeah.
That was an extremely close game. And then you go into the other game. That also was an extremely close game. Baltimore was the only other team that absolutely flat out dominated. Flat out dominated, dude. So I think this team is I'm sorry, man. This team's rocking, bro. This team is something special. If I'm not mistaken, also that this team has the most wins with teams over plus 500. They're the only team in the NFL that's done this. The only ones. And that's with like the best like Patriot football team that we've ever seen. We beat that record. Like that's wild, dude. And we're like decimating football teams. We were absolutely dominating football teams. And I believe that we're seriously going to dismantle the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't even think it's going to be a close game. I really don't.
Ray, I got some questions lined up for you because I'm just very curious to see where you're going to go. But before I do, I just want to get to the comments real quick. Can't really keep up. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to go up as far as I can. It says 31-20 Ravens from Angel. Matt says, I want to pick the Ravens to win, but the Chiefs do it all the time. The refs do like to favor the Chiefs. And can I mention that the refs that they picked for this game has a 40% chance win rate for the home team. All other refs average 55%, and the Baltimore Ravens are at home. The NFL could be trying to rig this game. I don't know. Angel said, in Lamar we trust. 28-21 Chiefs from Matt. Ravens Lions Super Bowl for DC Spent. The Swifties are going down. I'm tired of seeing them. I think we're all tired of Swifties, to be completely honest with you. And that's another reason why I hope Baltimore does make the Super Bowl. I do not want to see Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl, to be honest with you. Did you guys see they placed the refs for the game that helped out the away team? Yeah, just like we talked about earlier. The away team, they have a 45% chance, I'm sorry, a 60% chance of winning with these refs that they placed in there. I don't know if they're trying to rig it or what, but Raymond, I just got to ask you one question. I know we're about to wrap it up. We're reaching our hour mark. What if Baltimore loses? Where do they go from here? I want to know.
Well, actually, you know what? I will literally say that Patrick Mahomes, if Baltimore loses, Patrick Mahomes has the opportunity and a chance to go as like the greatest of all time. And I wanted to ask you something, Robbie. Are you kind of conflicted with this? Like, if Patrick Mahomes, like, here, bear with me here. So if Patrick Mahomes beats Baltimore, goes to the Super Bowl, gets his 3rd ring, if you compare him and Tom Brady, I think in career 7, Tom had 3. He has 2 right now. But if he gets it, they'd be tied 3-3. Patrick Mahomes has like 100+ more touchdowns, 1,000+ extra, thousands of yards more than Tom Brady. Dude, he's got to be in the conversation as the GOAT. And it's wild. And a lot of people, the best comparison I can say this is that Bill Russell had 11 rings in basketball. Michael Jordan had 6. Yeah, we consider Michael the greatest of all time. So obviously Tom had this has the standard of he has the most rings, but if this happens and he goes all the way, Ravi, you got to consider him the GOAT. My other point would be if Lamar wins, hey man, a lot of people that doubted him, dude, they're just going to get destroyed because everyone keeps saying, hey, it doesn't matter how many MVPs he wins, X, Y, and Z. He was a running back. He can't even make it to the Super Bowl. That stigma would still be there if he doesn't make it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was going to ask you, are you kind of like conflicted on both? Are you kind of like, oh, damn, like I don't, because like when I asked you last week, hey, who are you really going for? You said I'm going for the Texans, right?
Yeah, I'll be honest.
So is this kind of like conflicting? Because I know like I said, if Patrick wins, you're like, oh, because I know you want your GOAT. I know you love Tom Brady with everything, man, and like I'm sure you don't want anybody to like succeed past him, right?
This is the NFL, Ray. If it's not Patrick Mahomes, someone will succeed past him. That's just what happens. That's what happened with Joe Montana. That's what happened with Johnny Unitas. That's what happened with all these other older guys that played football before. Someone will always be better than you. There's no question without a doubt. As a diehard Patriots fan, as a diehard Tom Brady lover, I can say Patrick Mahomes is definitely a better thrower of the football than Brady probably ever was. But Brady didn't. Patrick Mahomes reads the field phenomenally, but no one can read the field like Tom Brady did, and I think that's where he set himself apart. He's gotten those 7 rings with one with a different team. I think Mahomes still has quite some way to go. I am definitely not hating on Patrick Mahomes. I am hating on the Swifties, though. That's why. That's one of the main. I just do not want to see it in the dang Super Bowl. And I would just love to see Baltimore get their ring. There's no bigger Lamar critic between the 3 of us than me. I was very skeptical on Lamar. And he came into the league very raw. The Ravens did a phenomenal job developing him. You could see year by year he was stepping up and up and up. And I think he solidified himself as possibly a top 3 quarterback. Maybe a top 2 quarterback, to be honest with you, the way he played this season. And that success does have to continue on for him to stay there because, it's what have you done for me lately type of league. That's just how it's always been. To answer your question, though, I would not be upset to see Patrick Mahomes get his ring. I don't think I'm a part of those Kansas City haters, those Patrick Mahomes haters, and screw Patrick Mahomes, this and that. I actually really like watching Patrick Mahomes play. I loved watching Aaron Rodgers play. I loved watching Peyton Manning play against Tom Brady. I love watching just good football, and that's what it's all about. I would not be hating on Patrick Mahomes if he wins on Sunday, and if he goes on to beat whoever wins in the NFC Championship in the Super Bowl and gets his 3rd ring. And I think even once he gets his 3rd ring, his 4th ring, he could really start solidifying himself as the greatest of all time. I know he would still be 3 behind Brady, but Brady doesn't have those passing records like Mahomes does. He doesn't have the mechanics like Mahomes does. I think there's still a very good case to be had about that. So I to answer your question, I would not be hating on that at all.
Yeah, dude, and that's honestly, I feel like I just had to ask you because I was just like, damn, I wonder what he thinks about this,
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
honestly, but to give you guys my prediction on this score, 34-20. 34-20. That's my score. And with that being said, honestly, man, we seriously love you guys. Thank you guys for freaking tuning in. Thank you guys for commenting. You guys are the best, man. Let's go freaking Ravens. Let's go Lions. Let's get this. Let's go, baby. Sunday football. Let's get it going.
We'll be back next week, Friday. Any last words?
Let's go.
Let's go, Baltimore!
Let's go.